Hey everyone, it's Tom here with Travel Economics. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, you don't need to be a cryptocurrency millionaire or come from a wealthy family to get a new passport. As it turns out, there are numerous countries around the world that have citizenship by investment programs that you can use to effectively buy a new passport. And in this video, I'm covering over 10 different countries that have this citizenship by investment route. I'll also be covering the total cost, the rough approval time, and everything you need to know to begin your research so you can potentially obtain a second passport. Also stay tuned because I'm covering some newer citizenship by investment programs you might not have heard of before in this video. And I'm also covering some red flags and considerations you should keep in mind when going down this route. You don't want to miss it. Let's get to it. All right, so starting out with the first country that actually lets you buy a passport. It's a newer program that a lot of people haven't heard of yet because it's so new, and that country is Nauru. So in November of 2024, Nauru announced its new citizenship by investment program. And so first of all, Nauru is a small island nation located in the Central Pacific Ocean, and not a lot of people have probably heard about it, and it only has a population of about 12,500 people. So yes, it's northeast of Australia. It's a very small island, a very small population, but it has one of the newest citizenship by investment programs. So this program is actually called the Nauru Economic and Climate Resilience Citizenship Program. And for starters, for a single applicant, it requires a donation of about $105,000 US. There are additional fees for each child or spouse you include. There's a $25,000 application fee, due diligence fees, passport registration fees, and overall you're looking at around $130,000 US for a single applicant. So what are the benefits here? Well, with this passport right now, you can travel visa-free to about 80 different countries. You can also get visa upon arrival at tons of other countries as well. Now, in terms of processing times, the website says that it's about 3 to 4 months from your actual application to getting the new passport. However, this is such a new program, so not many people have even begun the application process or gone through the process, so time will tell if it's actually 3 to 4 months. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually takes longer, again, because it's so new. However, this new program is now one of the cheapest options out there to buy a new passport, and because it's so new, I wanted to start the video by covering it. All right, and the second country where you can effectively buy a passport in 2025 is Dominica. So Dominica is a country in the Eastern Caribbean Sea that is also a popular candidate for the passport by investment program. It's also a former British colony. It is a member of the Commonwealth of Nations, the UN, and a member of the Caribbean community. Now, currently, its citizenship by investment program requires a donation of $200,000, and it's $250,000 if you're applying with up to 3 dependents. There's also a real estate option you can consider instead. With this option, you purchase real estate with a minimum value of $200,000 US, and this property can be sold after 3 years on the open market. Now, in terms of the benefits, firstly, you can get this in the Caribbean. So if you're around North America and you don't want to move too far from North America, this could be something you consider. The passport also unlocks visa-free or visa-on-arrival travel to over 140 destinations. On top of that, there's no minimum stay requirement. So just because you buy this passport, you don't actually have to live there full time or even spend, 6 months, 3 months, any amount of time there if you don't want to. Now, according to the application website and other resources I found online, it says the application takes about 1 year. This isn't the cheapest passport out there, but it is far from the most expensive, as you'll see as we get through the rest of this video. And the third country I wanted to cover where you can effectively buy a passport is St. Kitts and Nevis. So this is another island country consisting of the 2 islands of St. Kitts and Nevis, which are both located in the West Indies. And so its citizenship by investment program starts at $250,000 US for a single applicant. It used to be $125,000 per applicant, which is why it was very, very compelling and competitive, but it has become a lot more expensive. Now, there's also a real estate investing option to obtain your citizenship, but it's a little more complicated. It also requires a $325,000 US investment in an approved development. Now, again, in terms of the benefits, you have location to consider. St. Kitts and Nevis is also a member of the Commonwealth, so that might make travel to certain destinations easier. You can also include a spouse, children under 26, and parents aged 55 and over on your application, as well as dependents after citizenship has been granted to the main applicant. Now, again, like most of these programs, if you're adding other applicants, dependents or your spouse, you will pay additional fees per applicant. And overall, this program can take about 8 months to actually get your passport according to its website and other resources I found online. So it's not the fastest and it's not the slowest. And coming in at number 4 on a list of countries that sell passports is Vanuatu. And so for this one, we're heading back over to the Pacific. We'll bounce between the Caribbean and the Pacific a little bit before getting to Europe and Asia. So Vanuatu is an island nation in the South Pacific Ocean located east of Australia and west of Fiji. And so it also has a citizenship by investment program that is known because it is one of the more affordable options out there. And so right off of the bat, it costs about $130,000 for a single applicant. Some people have also reported that the processing time can be as fast as 3 to 5 months. Again, this isn't the case for everyone or every resource you'll see online, but it is one of the cheaper and faster routes to obtaining a second passport. However, one thing to keep in mind is that the Vanuatu passport has been losing some of its power in recent years. For example, it's lost its Schengen visa waiver status. The UK has also revoked this too, so the passport isn't as great for completely free travel as it used to be. But again, until Nauru announced its new program, this has basically been one of the cheapest, fastest options, which is why I still wanted to include it in this video. All right, and the fifth country on this list is one that might surprise people, but it's actually Turkey. And so you can acquire a Turkish passport in several ways, and it's a little bit different than the other citizenship by investment programs I've just covered. So firstly, you can acquire at least $400,000 worth of real estate, or you can invest a minimum of $500,000 in Turkish investment, bonds, CDs, and similar investments. There's a few other more niche investment routes I'm not going to cover in this video, but you can research them as well. But generally speaking, if you have a lot of money to invest, and you're willing to do that in Turkey, that can be a path to getting your passport. On top of that, you can potentially qualify if you create jobs for at least 50 people, as attested by the Ministry of Family, Labor, and Social Services. So as you can see, there are more options to getting a Turkish passport than you'll find in a lot of the Caribbean or Pacific islands, but the thing is, again, you'll need more money, and some of the options involve starting a business in Turkey that actually employs people. That said, Turkey is a great business hub because of where it's situated, so this might play into your consideration. Now, processing times can take 6 months to a year, although it's sometimes faster. And the passport is pretty decent. You can actually travel visa-free to about 130 different countries. However, some countries like Canada, the UK, and the United States do require Turkish passport holders to obtain a visa, so it's not necessarily the best passport for international travel, depending on where you want to go. All right, guys, and the sixth country I wanted to cover that lets you buy a passport is North Macedonia. And so you might know of Macedonia from Alexander the Great's time, way back in ancient history, but a lot of people don't know that North Macedonia has a citizenship by investment program. There are also two different ways you can obtain a passport. And so option one involves investing at least 200,000 euros per applicant for a period of at least 2 years in a private investment fund established in accordance with the laws of the Republic of North Macedonia. In other words, you have to get at least 200,000 euros per applicant and invest it in something the government says you can. Now, option number two involves spending at least 400,000 euros per adult applicant as a direct investment in new facilities in employing at least 10 people for an indefinite period of time in a period of at least 1 year. So this might sound a little bit complicated, but it essentially means you have to open some kind of business, spend at least 400,000 euros on the facilities, and employ people, and do this within a year. Now, I will say that Macedonia is not in the EU yet, although it's been looking to join for years. You also get visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to over 120 different destinations, and there's no minimum residence period or language requirement to obtain citizenship. But anyways, guys, I want to wrap up this video with a few honorable mentions because I wanted to cover over 10 countries, like I said in the intro, but I didn't want this video to be half an hour long. And so there are plenty of other countries where you can obtain a passport and citizenship essentially through making a donation, investing in real estate, or opening some kind of business. And so I'm going to list off a few other countries you can consider, as well as their rough price. But again, you can do your own research to make sure you have the current price and application process in front of you. So firstly, there's Antigua and Barbuda, which has about $230,000 attached to its application process. Egypt, which costs about $250,000. Malta, which costs 600,000 euro. St. Lucia, which costs about 240,000 US dollars. And Cambodia, which costs about 245,000 US dollars. And on top of that, I will say that citizenship by investment programs change, and new ones are also announced sometimes, like we saw with Nauru. For example, in more recent news, the Solomon Islands, another Pacific island, has announced its plans to release a citizenship by investment program in 2025. So there could be another option that's even better than places like Vanuatu around the corner. But anyways, guys, those are 10 different countries that offer citizenship by investment programs in some way, shape, or form. And really quickly, just to wrap up this video, I want to cover a few red flags and some important considerations you should keep in mind when doing your research here. And the first would just be that the real estate investing option in a lot of these countries isn't as appealing as it may seem, at least not for many people. Oftentimes you are buying overvalued real estate and you also need to maintain it and then consider property taxes as well. So sure, you might be buying a villa as a path to citizenship, but it might be overvalued as to what you're buying. And then you have to, keep up with it, have all the headaches associated with maintaining that property. In some countries, buying real estate as a foreigner can also feel a little bit risky. There are scams, it could be unreliable. So again, it could be a bigger headache than just investing or making a donation. The second thing to consider would just be natural disasters, political climate, and things that actually impact you if you choose to live in that region. And really the third consideration I wanted to mention is that obtaining a new passport through an ancestral route could be a lot cheaper and better than actually going for a citizenship by investment program. There are many countries that actually let you obtain a second passport and citizenship through your ancestry, and this is something I'm actually doing right now by obtaining a Romanian passport. A couple other countries that offer this include Greece, Israel, Poland, South Africa, Germany. There are many other countries, especially in Europe though, where if you can prove ancestry, you can potentially get a passport and citizenship. Now, the downside here is it can be time consuming, it can be kind of tricky, there's a lot of paperwork involved, you have to go to the embassies, you might need a translator. So again, it's not always as simple as just buying a passport from an island in the Caribbean or Pacific. However, I will be making a video that covers different ways to get a passport through Ancestry, so definitely subscribe to the channel because you don't want to miss that video. In any case, I hope this video helps you start your research if you're planning on obtaining a new passport this year or sometime in the future. That does it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day and week. I'll catch you in the next one.